everyone, my name is Candace, aka Picasso baby, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create your very own summertime picnic. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping back by to paint with me today. So today I am going to be showing you how to create your very own summer picnic painting. It is officially summer, and I know normally we are in the studio painting, but today we are outside. We're going to enjoy some of this summer heat. I want to encourage you all to get outside and really touch the grass and enjoy the outdoors this summer. I know it's also hot and it's very humid in some places, so make sure you hydrate as you're enjoying the outdoors. Also, before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and turn on those post notifications so that you do not miss the next tutorial. So before we get started, I'm going to go over everything that you need for this tutorial today. As always, I am using a 16 by 20 inch canvas. Remember, you can use the canvas size of your choice. It's completely up to you. You also want to make sure that you have a cup with cold water for your brushes. You want to have a few different size acrylic brushes. You can use whatever sizes you'd like. And you want to make sure that you have some napkins or a rag to dry your brushes off on. We are going to be doing a little bit of drawing today. So you also want to make sure that you have some chalk to draw with and, of course, your paint. I am using acrylic paint, and today I'm just using the colors Mars Black, Phthalo Blue, Titanium White, Bright Red, and Chrome Yellow. So as always, everything is listed in the description below, and we are going to go ahead and get started. So as I said, I'm going to be teaching you how to do a cute, super fun, super simple summer picnic painting. It's officially summer, so I wanted to get outside and do some painting out here today, but it is pretty humid. It's not super hot or super sunny today. It's just a little humid. How has it been where you all are at? Is the weather hot and humid where you all are, or you all get a nice summer breeze? Um, I am going to start by filling in my background. So I want to map a few things out. And the way I'm going to map them out is with a little bit of yellow and with my biggest brush. So I'm using a bigger flat brush. And the first thing I want to do is divide my sky and my ground. So I'm going to pull a line over. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight across. If it goes at an angle, that's completely fine. The next thing I want to do is I want to map out my picnic blanket and my grass. So I am going to pull a line down at an angle. Everything on this side is going to end up being my grass. Everything on this side is going to end up being my blanket. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this off. And I'm going to move back into the sky area of my painting. So I'm going to be picking up white on one side of my brush, a little bit of blue on the other side, and I'm going to allow it to blend right on the canvas. I am painting everything from the top down to this line we made here. All right, now once you have the sky portion filled in, the next thing I want to get filled in is I want to fill in the grass. Now for the grass, I am just filling it in completely with green. So what I want to do is, you don't have to wash your brush since we were already working with blue, but right on your plate, you're going to take some of your blue and mix it with some of your yellow. Keep in mind, the more yellow you use, the lighter your green will be. The more blue you use, the darker your green will be. And once you have a shade that you like, I am just going to fill this completely in. If you go over this yellow line a bit, that's completely okay. You actually want to overlap it a bit. Just so that part gets covered up. Same thing here. And before that starts to dry too much, while I have that first layer on there, I'm going to go in with another layer. This time I'm going to add a little more white to my mixture to lighten it up. So I want a different shade of green, so I'm adding white just to lighten it a bit. And when I do it this time, I'm going to actually kind of make some grass lines by just pulling little lines straight up. And you see, I'm pulling it right over the line that we started with. And you don't have to get this color exactly everywhere. We are going to do a few layers. Pulling little pieces of grass up. Now I'm going to do one more. This time I'm going to add more white because I want it to be a bit lighter. And I'm going to do that same thing, but I'm not going to do it everywhere, just in a couple spots, wherever you feel like you had space at, or wherever you just want to see like a pop of highlighted color. You don't have to cover up all of your dark green. You can let some of that dark green peek through just a bit. All right, so now that you have the sky, you have the grass, we want to get our blanket on. So this time you want to wash your brush out again. You want to wash it out really, really well, because we're going to be using white. Now, if you want your blanket a different color, it's completely up to you, but the base of mine is going to be white. So I'm going to wash this out really well. Now I'm going to start from this side, and I am going over that yellow line. If it doesn't get covered completely, that's okay. And even if you pick a little bit up, that's okay. You just want to pick up some more white, and I'm going to get everything filled in. And of course, you want to make sure you go right next to the green as well. So you see how some of the yellow from that yellow line got into my white, and I'm just going to blend it out. So I'm just going back and forth across to get it blended out so that it's a little more subtle. And of course, what would a picnic be without the traditional red and white picnic blanket or picnic table cover? So that's what we're going to be creating. So now that I have that base with the all white, I want to get the lighter shade of red in there while my white is still wet. So on my plate, I'm going to take some white and a little bit of red, and I'm going to mix those together. So it's going to give you more like a pink almost. And we are going to make some lines. So I'm going to start with this first line right across the top. And I'm going to keep going down. These lines do not have to be perfect, but you'll see that they blend in a bit with the white, and that's exactly what we want. So right now I'm just doing lines going across. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some lines going down. So I'm going to mix up a little more of that lighter red that I started with by just mixing some more red and white. And I'm going to do some lines going down. So of course I'm going to do this line going this way here. And I'm going to do some more lines. All right, now before we are completely done, I'm going to go in and add some darker red areas. So I'm not going to use any more of that pink and that white and red mixture that I made, that pink. And I'm also not going to wash my brush. I'm just going to pick up some red. And on some of the checkers, I am just going to make a quick red square. And you want to kind of make sure that you're not doing them in all of the same areas. Like, you don't want any red squares right next to each other. You kind of want to put it where some pink is at. So I'm keeping the white squares white, but I'm overlapping some of the pink areas with the red just to give it more of that checkered look. And if you want to go in and add any more of the darker red in some areas, you definitely can. Or even if you want to add another color and you want to make it more of a multicolored picnic blanket or table cover, is completely up to you. But once you have it pretty much like that, all we're going to do now is we have to let it dry before we can add on our picnic snacks and drinks. So we're just going to take a quick 10 to 15 minute break to let everything dry completely. Or as always, if you don't want to wait for it to dry, you can get a blow dryer. But remember, if you are painting outside like I am, you probably don't have a blow dryer, so you're going to have to take a break, relax, enjoy your time, and just let it dry completely. And then we'll start on the next step together in a few.
Few moments later.
All right, so now that our paintings are completely dry, you can see we have the sky, we have the grass, we have our picnic blankets. The next thing I want to add on is I'm going to be adding on some drinks to mine. Remember, this is your painting. You can switch it up and add whatever you like. But one of my favorite drinks, especially in the summertime, is lemonade. So I am going to be creating some lemonade. I'm going to do a lemonade and a strawberry lemonade. So this is when you want to grab your chalk so that we can draw on our drinks. So the first thing I want to do to get my mason jars on there is I'm going to use my chalk to draw the base of them. So I'm pretty much like I'm drawing a U almost, or just the bottom of a cup. So I'm going to place one over here. So again, it's almost like I'm just drawing a U. And I'm going to do another one right next to it. And they don't have to be the same height or even the same size. If you want to make one a bit smaller, one a bit bigger, it's completely up to you. But you just want to start with like a U shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull two curved lines or two angled lines in just a bit. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to angle two lines in just a bit. I'm going to close it off by making a curved line, so almost like a smile. So not just a line straight across, I'm curving it off with like a smile. From there, I'm going to pull two lines up. This time they're just going straight up. Not super high. This is just the rim of the glass. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I am going to curve it off with a bit of a curve. Same thing here. Curving it off with a bit of a curve. I'm also going to curve it over the top, like the opening of it. Now the opening of mine are on the smaller side. If you want to make yours a bit bigger, it's completely up to you. But once you've done that, you got your glasses in. Now, as far as the glasses, we're going to keep them looking a bit see-through. So I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. But I want to draw some little fruit just kind of on my blanket. If you want to make a plate to put it on or something, it's up to you. But I'm going to actually just draw some fruit right on my blanket. So I'm going to do a couple of circles. And you see I'm overlapping them. I'm going to do one more over here. And those are going to be some lemon slices or some actual whole lemons. And I'm going to do some strawberries too. Now for the strawberry, I am going to start out with a little circle. And then I'm going to pull a little triangle underneath it. So I start out with a circle, pull a little triangle underneath it. I'm going to do one more over here. Start out with a little circle, pull a triangle underneath it. And I'll go over that part again before I actually start to paint it, just in case you couldn't see it. But now it's time to paint. So remember, I am doing just a regular lemonade, and I'm going to also do a strawberry lemonade or a pink lemonade. I'm going to start with the regular lemonade first. So I'm going to start by using my medium round brush. So I'm switching brushes. So I'm going to pick up some white and mix it with some yellow right on my plate, just to make it a little more like almost like a pastel yellow. And you can choose which one you want to fill in. It's completely up to you. You can choose how high up you want to fill it as well. But I'm just going to fill it in. And if you can still see some of your blanket through it, that is completely fine. That's actually even better, because remember, this is just a drink. Most drinks are a bit transparent. And it's also in a glass. So we want to keep that in mind. Now for the next one, I am going to take some of my white, a little bit of red, and a little more yellow, and mix that up. You don't want to use a whole lot of the yellow because we don't want it to go too orange. We just want it to be more on the pink side. So just a very, very small amount of yellow. Once you have a color you like, you're going to go ahead and get your drink filled in. Now, before I'm done with the drinks, I want to take a little bit of white and kind of add a little bit of a highlight at the bottom of them. So I'm just kind of wiping a little bit of white right on the bottom of that one. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Wiping a little bit of white, and you'll see it gets a little bit of pink in it. That's completely fine. And as far as that part goes, we are done. But I'm not going to wash my brush. I am actually going to go right into my red, and I'm going to show you how I did the shape of my strawberry. So remember, I did a circle, and then I made a little triangle underneath it, and now I'm just going to fill it in. And I just did 2 strawberries. You can do as many as you like. It is completely up to you. But I'm going to do one more over here. So I made that circle. Make a little triangle. And then fill it in. And they don't have to be shaped perfectly. No strawberry is absolutely perfect. If it is, there's like one out of the bunch, so no worries. Now I want to do my lemons, so I'm going to wash my brush off. Now for my lemons, I'm going to do one that's one whole lemon, and the other 2 is going to look like it's cut in half. You're going to be able to see the slices of it. So I washed my brush off. I'm still using the medium round brush, and I'm going to fill in this first lemon here. I'm going to actually pick up some white and just a very, very small amount of red to get this first layer on, and then I'm going to go back and do a second layer. But for this first layer, I'm picking up yellow, white, and a very, very small amount of red. Very, very small. Now for these 2 layers here, I'm using the same colors, but I'm only going to actually go over the chalk mark that I made. So I'm not going to fill it in completely. I'm just kind of doing the outside of it. Same thing here. And for the inside, I'm going to pick up a little more white and fill it in so that it's lighter. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to go back to the strawberries. I want to add some little white dots on my strawberries. You can do white or black. You just want to add some little dots to make it look a little more realistic. So I'm just going through and doing some layers of little dots all the way down. And your red should still be wet, so a little bit of it might mix. That's completely fine. That actually helps it. And do the same thing over here. While I'm working with this white on my smallest brush, because I did switch to a baby small brush for this one, while I'm working with this white, I am actually going to make some little straws coming out of my glasses. So I'm just doing a line. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can stop it wherever you like. And if you pick up some of the other colors, it's okay. Just keep painting and allow it to blend. Now I am going to wash my brush, and then I'm going to do the same thing for my glass of regular lemonade. I'm going to pull a little straw out. We're going to give all of that some time to dry, but while it's drying, we're actually going to outline the mason jars, or outline the glasses. I'm going to outline them in a little bit of black first, and then I'll come back and outline them in white. So I'm still using my smallest brush. And one thing I'm also going to do, I am going to add a little bit of water to some of my black paint, just to thin it down a little bit so that it goes on really smoothly and makes some really nice lines. And I'm going to outline each of my glasses. Now, as far as the glasses go, you're just pretty much going over all of the chalk lines. The only one that you want to make sure not to skip over your straw is the very first line. So the one across the top, I'm going to go right next to the straw, pick up my brush, and then go on the other side. Every other line, I'm just going to go right across it. And I'm going to outline the sides of my jar in the bottom as well. And you don't have to cover all of your chalk lines. Once we're finished with the painting, if some of the chalk is still showing, that's completely fine. What you'll be able to do is wipe it away with a cold, wet rag once your painting is completely dry. So don't feel like you have to make really thick lines trying to cover up all of your chalk. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Remember, on that top line, do not cover the straw. Everything else, go right across the straw. All right, now once you have the glasses in, we're going to go right back into the fruit. So I'm going to wash all of that black off of my smallest brush, and I want to add some more details down there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some white to my lemon slices here, the ones that are where you can see the inside of them. I'm going to start with a little dot in the center, and I'm going to pull little slices or little lines through. And if your paint is still wet, remember that's completely fine. It'll blend in and give it a even more realistic look. I'm going to also pull a circle around those lines. And as I'm making this circle, I'm only circling or outlining that lighter yellow circle that we made in the middle. I'm not doing anything to that darker yellow circle that we have. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Pull some lines out for the slices. And then outline it. Now this is just an extra step, but if you would like to add some little seeds, you can add a little white dot in between each slice. Or again, that's completely optional. You can leave that off if you don't want it. But I'm going to also go in, and remember I said I was going to add a second layer to this one. I'm just picking up some yellow. I didn't wash my brush off, but I'm just picking up yellow and going right over this. Right, so now that we have it popping just a little bit more, I'm going to go in and add the green, like the leaves, to my strawberries, and I'm also going to add one to my lemon. So I'm going back into my green that I already had. If you don't have any more, you can mix some up. I'm going to keep this yellow on my brush and move some yellow over. Add a little bit of blue. I want this green to be a little bit darker, so I'm adding more blue than yellow. And right on top of the strawberry, I'm just going to kind of pull some quick lines up, like 5 or 6 quick lines. Same thing on this one. At the top of the strawberry, I'm pulling up 5 or 6 quick lines right next to each other. And for the lemon here, I am actually going to do a little leaf. So I'm going to pull a little curved line over that way, curve it back towards the lemon, and fill it in. And I'm going to take some white just to add some more detail. You know, we love the details. I'm going to add a little white line on that piece of leaf on the lemon, and I'm going to add some on the strawberries as well, just to give it a little pop of color. Now, once you have all of that, if you like your glasses how they are, you can leave them as is, but I am going to actually go back over them or hit some of the spots with a little bit of white. So I washed my smallest brush off, and I'm picking up a little bit of white paint just to give some little highlighted lines on my mason jars. And same thing, if any of the color gets into your white, it's completely fine. Even if it starts to mix with some of your black, just pick up some more white. Because we don't want it to be perfect. We just want it to look like it has a little bit of highlight. And the last thing I'm going to do before I am completely done is I'm going to take a little bit of that red and white mixture that I had. If you don't have any more, just mix up a little bit of red and white. Even if some black got on your brush, that's okay. Mix up a little bit of red and white. And underneath the glasses, I just want to add a little bit of a dark shadow just at the corner or right underneath. It's completely up to you. You can even do the same thing with the fruit. Just adding a little shadow underneath. And remember, this part's optional. If you want to leave it off, you definitely can. And once you have done all of that, the very last thing you want to make sure to do is sign your painting. So you just want to use your smallest brush, a little bit of paint, and sign your painting. And you now have your very own summertime picnic. Thank you all so much for painting with me today. I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to get outside this summer. Enjoy some time outside with yourself, your friends, your family, and loved ones. And enjoy this picnic painting as well, along with an actual picnic. But as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments below and turn on those post notifications. And I will see you in the next tutorial.